Everybody good?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. It's Friday. Fantastic. Questions?
What's your overview of DJ this season from start to finish in terms of what he's done well and what you might advise he gets better at going forward?
I mean, doing well as far as being able to, make plays. He's obviously a dynamic guy in space, can break tackles, hard to bring down, has a unique skill when it comes to finding ways to get open. I think everybody has always areas to improve as far as just the overall, detail when it comes to in and out of breaks. We can also help at times of being able to spell him some from a rotational standpoint, so he's not having to play so many snaps in a row, which is eventually wears everybody down. But I would say for what he can control overall, pretty good year.
Thomas, if this is the last game you get to coach Caleb Williams, what do you want to see out of this last game against Green Bay?
To be clean, to be efficient, to be his best. That's what I care about the most. I think understanding the responsibility he has playing the quarterback position. He's always made plays throughout this year, almost every game. It's some spectacular plays here and there, but it's about the operation day in and day out, the play in, play out, the communication with the entire group, and just lead them. Leadership position, whether you like to or not, which I know he welcomes that, wants that, and he should. But understanding of everything that he does, every attitude he has, how he communicates, how he moves, makes the entire group go. So just be himself, be his best, and cut it loose.
Thomas, was Jaquan still never able to clear concussion protocol?
No.
Have you been able to have conversations with him just to kind of check in on state of mind and everything where he's at?
My convo's been more about just him as a person. It's not anything injury related, just more just our convos back and forth in the hallway and when I see him. So
You mentioned the other day a couple times about coaches being responsible for not shying away from confrontation.
Yeah.
In your experience and your philosophy, what's the healthiest and most productive way to, I guess, identify when confrontation is needed and then to approach it?
I think it's always needed. I think as far as when to approach it I think it's important to understand the player. I think timing is important. I think being able to read the room is important. I think it's, some guys have a difficult time if you call them out in front of the entire group, which I don't necessarily shy away from that, but I think it should start first as a one-on-one conversation. And I think, again, it depends on how the player receives the information. Like I've said several times, it's not about me expressing myself the way I want to. The purpose is to get the message across. So I can adapt and adjust and change, not without sugarcoating the truth, but as far as how I communicate with the player to bring the best out of them.
When you say it's always needed, what do you mean?
Confrontation is great. It's healthy. I think it makes us uncomfortable. It helps us all grow. And what I'm saying is it's always needed. There's always opportunities to be able to coach, correct, constructively as far as being able to bring the best out of the entire group.
Thomas, what's it been like for you to have Mercedes in the locker room and just help? I don't know if he's been helpful for you, but what's it been like to have him around for this experience?
Beyond helpful. I would say he is great to be around. The pleasure as far as the maturity, the communication, obviously highly experienced, veteran leader in the locker room. I think sometimes when it comes to the role of a player, it kind of changes the impact they can have overall just because, most guys have the best opportunity to lead when you're in your prime and you're kind of rocking and rolling. But I think he's done a great job as far as being a mentor to the entire group. Is one guy I've always leaned on as far as getting information back from as far as the locker room, as far as the pulse of it. But he's awesome.
Thomas, back to Nick's question about Caleb, not to steal a thunder on your exit interview, but what type of guidance would you give him going forward about fully understanding the investment needed to kind of reach the career aspirations that he has going?
Yeah, again, it's been ongoing. Like I said before, I never planned to just wait until that moment. We have an exit interview. It's been every single day, today included. We talked about in the morning in the quarterback meeting about just the preparation process, and not just with him, but the entire group. Just as far as what it takes to accomplish the goals that we all say we want to accomplish, the responsibility that comes with the position. As far as, again, you're in a leadership spot, being a playing quarterback in the National Football League, but also beyond that. I think I got into coaching more so about connecting with people and trying to help guys beyond the game of football. Fell in love with the ball part of it, X and O's, as kind of the process went on. But my initial drawing attraction to it was how can I impact lives through the game of football. So we spent a lot of time talking about what's stuff you can learn through the game of football to help you in life, but just also when it comes time to keeping things in perspective, because from an identity standpoint, it is extremely difficult, I think, as a player, to not have your whole identity wrapped into football, because that's all you get from everybody around you. The media questions, families questions, all about football, and that's what you do. It's not who you are.
With the places you've been and the quarterbacks you've been around, what have you come to appreciate over the years about the volume of work that goes into understanding the responsibilities of the position?
Yeah, I mean, I've appreciated the veterans I've been around that are really good, how they experience, be able to learn from their process and see how they go about their business. I benefited from being around young players who don't yet quite get it, but want to be in a veteran's position. So I think try to, not just from a quarterback standpoint, everywhere I've been, everyone I'm around, I try to learn, be a sponge, absorb information, whether it be good or bad, and try to take it as far as making myself better for those that are around me.
Thomas, for you, who's aspiring to be a full-time head coach one day, does it matter for you whether or not you have alignment in terms of contractual status with the GM? Does that matter, knowing that if you were to go in a position that GM would be there for, a good amount of time?
I think the alignment with the entire building is important. Obviously, head coach, GM spend a lot of time together. Have to collaborate as far as building a roster, the vision for the team, handling everything from a football business standpoint. But I think people minimize the impact of the entire building. Of everybody being on the same page, that we all have shared responsibility when it comes to how this operation works. I think in every building there are lifers who are there probably through every coaching transition. But I think the understanding of we're here because of football, you wouldn't have a job without football. And so the more we have an impact and understanding of how to make it better, the more success we all have.
Who slides in for Tevin?
Say it again.
Who plays for Tevin?
Jake Carhan.
So this team is very proud of its makeup. It's a group of good guys who get along and like each other and support each other. But and I'm serious about this, can a team be too nice? Does a team need something more than that? And I only ask because you haven't won a game since the Hail Mary. So I just wonder, is it possible that do you need more than that, than just being a group of good guys?
Yeah, I mean, I would say not just about this team, but the game of football in general. I talked about the violent nature that comes with playing at a high level. I think nice guys are great, but I think you have to be able to have a switch that clicks on it when you get in between those lines. And I think everywhere I've been, everywhere I've wanted to be, every team I've been a part of, that's been a separating piece when it comes to the mentality that you have and want to be in attack mode, to be physical, to be resilient. And so our issue about the losing streak is not just about us having nice guys. We do have some nice guys in the locker room, as you mentioned, but that's not the root of the issue.
I'm sorry?
That's not the root of the issue.
Thomas, you all, coaches and players, are playing for pride in your future Sunday. What do you tell the players to try and make sure that they give the best performance they can?
The same I tell them every single week. I think the opportunity is the important thing. I think it's not guaranteed, and as we kind of talked about and addressed earlier, I think maybe 2 weeks ago I talked about the countdown. We were 18 days into the season left, and the understanding how to maximize every chance you get, not take it for granted. I think we all have a very arrogant approach to the future, as if the future is guaranteed, and it's not guaranteed to you. To be in this building is not to be guaranteed. To be in the league, period, is not to be guaranteed. And there's some guys who may play their last game on Sunday, don't even know it yet. So I think an understanding of how to be competitive, to be at your best, to be internally motivated, regardless of circumstance, regardless of the need for overwhelming outside motivations, is always my thought process for this game and every other game.
With Tevin out, how do you kind of just assess his season? Because this will be the last we saw of him.
I think like this, the entire group has been up and down as far as the entire team goes. The offense goes. There's been some bright moments, some not so bright moments. I think it's always a an unfortunate part to have guys that have injuries and can't finish. That's always tough as an athlete. Obviously, haven't been around it from my own experiences, but also seeing other guys go through it. But just also added motivation to be better for the future.